Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today is just me, and I'm going to talk to you about something that I can get caught up in really, really easily. For those of you that are like me, that are more type A, very to-do list, like to check things off, like to compare, like different types of data points and such, this is going to be a great episode for you because it's something that can definitely get the best side of you and it doesn't need to. So, this is going to be all about how much data is too much data as far as managing how you feel, how you recover, all of those things. So, there's a ton of different options that people can wear for like wearables, right? So, we have all of our different watches. We have the Whoop that I used to wear. I stopped wearing it this week, and I'm going to explain why. Um, and there's also, all the different types of things like the heart rate monitors, all that stuff that you can wear. And it's all going to give you a variety of data points. And so I noticed, which many of you I know you can relate, that when you have all of these different data points to go off of, you're going to look at it and it's going to determine how you decide you feel that day instead of you determining how you feel that day and then using that as a reference point. And that's what really started to happen to me. And I was doing too much, right? So I have my Garmin, which is fantastic. I'm going to explain a little bit of the difference between this guy and the Whoop band. And I wore the Whoop band for gosh, 2 or 3 years, very, very, very consistently, and I really enjoyed wearing it. It gave a lot of insights, very, very specific insights, but I just felt like I didn't need all the data anymore, and then I was comparing Whoop data to Garmin data, and I was just throwing myself for a loop all the time, and let's just be honest, you guys, we are the only ones that can really determine how we actually feel on a day-to-day basis. We don't need a watch or a Whoop or a band or of any sort to tell us how we actually feel. Now, why was it really helpful for me to have these different options? The Whoop band, as I was healing my stress and my hormones and my gut health, was extremely beneficial. It is very, very specific as far as your sleep scores go, how different things might affect how you recover, right? So there's like a daily toggle list that you can fill out in there. And if you're really consistent with being honest with it, you can enter in everything in there from when your menstrual cycle starts, which has a big effect on stressors and stuff, to, if you took fish oil that day, to if you had alcohol that day, or if you had a lot of processed sugars that day, if you got sunlight in the morning, if you were watching TV without blue light blockers the night before, like all kinds of really specific details. And as I was learning myself and learning how to actually treat my body the way that it needed to be, that really, really helped guide me. Like, okay, so I'm looking at my data points for my Whoop. I'm in the yellow recovery again and again and again and again. What do I need to change in order to get to green? And then I would start to learn the trends of what really worked for me to help lower my stress levels, to help heal my gut health, to help heal my hormone health. And I didn't really need the Whoop anymore after I had gotten those things in line because I already had a lot of that data in the Garmin. And this was costing me extra every month. This wasn't, right? The Garmin's a one-time purchase. And so the Whoop is actually a monthly subscription, and rightfully so. It has a lot of really awesome data points there. I've got nothing against the Whoop band. It's just not what I need anymore at this point. But if you're at the beginning of a journey, you're trying to heal something, you're trying to really understand how to improve your sleep habits, how to improve your stress levels, those kinds of things, Whoop might be the best way for you to go so you can really understand how to improve your actual recovery. But a couple of things that Whoop does have on it, right? That was really helpful for me. Like I was saying, it measures your sleep, measures your strain, so like how hard you're working, perceived, right? You're the only one who really knows how hard you're working. It's gonna also measure your HRV, which is really heart rate variability is what that is. And really what that shows is if you have a higher HRV score consistently, that means that you are better at recovering. Whereas if your HRV drops, it means that you're really probably stressed or you're doing something that's more stressful to your body or to your mind, and it's decreasing how well you sleep and recover. So it measures HRV very specifically. It has health measurements like skin temperature measuring, heart respiratory rate measuring, all of that stuff. It also has alarms on it that you can set as well as sleep coaching. And so it will tell you like if you're going to get up at 4:45 in the morning, which is my normal wake up time, it tells me what time I need to go to bed in order to achieve such sleep goal. It's very specific like that. Now, mind you, parents out there, if we're having a bad week with the kids or we're on the traveling or doing something that's out of our norm, sometimes it's going to tell you need to go to bed at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's probably not going to happen, but it does teach you, where you're really starting to cut yourself short and what we need to do in order to fix that. And it's just really helpful. It was really helpful for me as I went through that journey of healing. And then, like I was saying, it also has all those daily journal toggles that you can turn on and off, choose which ones you want to fill out. And then it can help really measure which things that you do consistently help you recover, which ones don't. And so it just helps you learn a lot about yourself. Now, I was doing all of that for a long time, and I got to where I am now, which is great. Like I feel great, taking on new goals now and I just feel good, which is awesome, right? That's where we all want to be. So I kept on comparing my Whoop band data to my Garmin data. And honestly, you guys, this does track a lot of the same things. So it also tracks sleep. It's going to give me all my sleep stages. Pretty accurate as far as like comparing the two. The sleep stages were pretty similar between the two. So it was measuring them pretty much the same. This also going to track my steps and my floors walked, that kind of thing, which the Whoop doesn't do that. This obviously also tells time and all of that stuff. The Whoop does not do those kinds of things. It's going to give you, your heart rate all the time. It's also going to have your heart rate and your strain during workouts, body battery and stress level measuring, which is going to be kind of like your strain. So if you're like starting off your day at 100 and by the end of the day you're at like a 5 for your body battery, you really like stressed yourself out that day. It's going to tell you need to calm down. And if you're starting out your day and you only got up to like 60 overnight, it's gonna like be a good indicator that we need to kind of maybe back off a little bit that day in order to help your body catch back up. So those are the kind of things that you get in Garmin. It's also going to talk about your health measurements. So it measures skin temperature and things like that. There's also a sleep coach in here. It's not as specific as the Whoop band, but since I already know that information because I did it for so long, I know what I need to do with this information in order to utilize it. It also does have alarms on here, so I can wake up to just a vibrating watch, and it's a lot calmer wake up than, alarm buzzing in my head. It also does measure HRV. I'll say the HRV measurement from this to the Whoop band, not terribly the same. I have been told that Garmin's HRV isn't quite as accurate as Whoop's HRV, which isn't surprising. It's not its necessary strong suit, but it is in there, and I would call it moderately accurate. But all those things said, what was really helpful when I got to a certain point and I had like an epiphany, I just had too many data points. I was looking at not how I felt in the morning. I was looking at my Whoop data and I was looking at my Garmin data, and then I was deciding which one was more correct and which one I needed to follow to decide how good I felt that day. You guys, the technology is awesome that we have access to, but you need to understand that you know how good you feel that day. Now, you have to be honest with yourself. So if you need to have a wearable in order to teach you to be honest with yourself about how you feel for a while, that's a-okay. But we should be able to kind of understand, are we thinking clearly? Are we able to pop out of bed? Are we excited for the day? Are we dreading everything? Are we super short with everyone that we love? Right? We can tell those things without looking at a watch. So I just wanted to put that out there. So if you have too many data points, too many things telling you how you should feel, consider eliminating some of them or reducing them so that way you only have a few data points and you really start to rely on trusting yourself on how you feel. So I thought that that'd be a helpful thing for you guys, kind of do a little comparison. If you have questions on any of the stuff that I have used or mentioned, just let me know. I'm happy to talk about those. And if you have any questions about the different types of like measurements and stuff that these watches and wearables have, let me know. I'm not like a super expert, but I've definitely utilized the information and the data a ton. So I'm happy to talk more on that as well if you decide that you have questions on it. So I hope you guys have an awesome day. I hope this brought you some insight and hopefully some clarity, and I will talk to you on the next episode.